Hey guys, welcome to this video. There are two things I want to talk about in this video. One is we're going to go through a quick little slideshow I put together about the beginnings of the Civil War. And then I'm going to explain to you how our lessons and assignments are going to work for the couple of battles we're going to talk about. No, we're not going to talk about every single Civil War battle. That will take us forever. But we are going to talk about the major ones that happen in each year. So we have a total of five we're going to talk about. We are going to be looking at the who, what, when, where, and why of each battle, and I'll get into more detail of that at the second half of this video. But first, I want to talk about the beginnings of the Civil War. So let me see if I can make my face smaller. And let us start from the beginning. I need to make myself float at the top. I would normally present this slideshow in full screen, but I want to keep my face on the screen so you guys can see me. A lot of feedback I've been getting from you guys in other grades is you miss the ability of teachers to give you instructions verbally like I would standing in front of the class. So I'm going to try and implement that a little bit more as we move forward in this whole remote learning process. I think it's helpful for me as well, just because it's a lot easier for me to say what I want you guys to do and what I expect from you rather than type it out and have you guys read it. So we're going to try this. So let's get started. We are talking about the beginnings of the Civil War. Last week, you guys did an awesome job of looking at the different causes, and we kind of looked at the time period back from like 1820s to 1850s, I think. I don't think we got to 1860s or anything, but we kind of looked at those things, and that was just like a snowball effect. Like as soon as the tariff of 1832 happened, and then Kansas, Nebraska, and then Bleeding Kansas, these things just like snowballed into this huge fiasco of the North and the South really having trouble deciding on what to do with slavery and who should have it and who shouldn't and who is dictating all of that. So it was just a huge pileup of different issues that kept happening. So we talked about those causes, and then we're going to get into this PowerPoint a little bit more of the things that really just tipped the pot over and began the war. So let's do it. So we have the beginnings of the Civil War. A little quick background information. It does start in 1861 and it lasts 4 years and ends 1865. The Union and the United States of America or the Confederate States of America are fighting against each other. The Union has this flag. If you notice anything different about the flag, please let me know because I noticed something different. And then the Confederate States, I'm sure you guys have seen what a Confederate flag looks like because there are people in the world today who still fly them. So we have the Union versus the Confederates. Those are the two parties that will be fighting. Yes, it's Americans versus Americans. That's why it's a civil war. It's a war between a country. So we have this thing, the election of 1860. This is a pretty controversial election. One, because we have four different candidates running. You can see the four different colors. So purple is the Republican Party. They are nominating, or their candidate is Abraham Lincoln. We have the Southern Democrats who nominate, and their candidate is John C. Breckinridge. And then we have the Northern Democrats who want Stephen A. Douglas. And then we have the Constitutional Union, which wants John Bell. So we have four different people running. A lot, like the main issues of this election that people were trying to vote on who would help solve these issues were slavery and states' rights. So those are like the two big things people are trying to figure out. And based on what they feel and how they feel about those things is who they're going to vote for. It probably is not a surprise that the North has a bigger population than the South. And because they have a bigger population, the North controls the Electoral College. And we talked a little bit about this when I think Washington was elected and maybe Jefferson. I don't know. But the way things work is there's a popular vote and a Electoral College vote. So if the North controls a lot of the Electoral College, then the South doesn't really have a chance. So they were kind of upset about that. I think the next bullet point is super interesting just because Lincoln dominated the North, but he didn't carry a single Southern vote. So you can kind of already see, like if I'm living in Tennessee in 1860 and Lincoln gets elected president, but we know for a fact that no Southern people voted for Lincoln, then we feel like we were misrepresented and we deserve something better. Like we were bullied by the North to get this guy elected. So there's already tension rising with this election from the South and the North. The next bullet point says exactly what I just said. The result of the election further separated the North from the South. And I think this was, I didn't even know this. I had to look this up. Before Lincoln's inauguration, 11 southern states had seceded from the Union. So I know now our inauguration for presidents is in January, but I'm not sure when it was back then. I'll have to look it up. But before Lincoln was officially in office, 11 of the southern states had already seceded. So they already are showing that they don't support Lincoln. They don't support the Union of the United States anymore, and they are ready to peace out, okay? Before I move on, if I'm going too fast or you're just like, Miss Bosing, you're all over the place, blah, 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 and you still have questions, feel free to email me or like put a little comment on your learning path and ask a question, and I will be happy to answer it. So, yeah. Okay, so states that seceded. We just talked about how before Lincoln was even in office, we had 11 states secede, and to secede means to formally withdraw from a union. So these southern states formally decided we are no longer going to be part of the union. And they thought they could do this, and South Carolina was kind of the leader. They're the first one that does this. Their belief was if we can choose to decide to become part of the union, to become part of the United States, then we also have the choice to leave the United States. So that's kind of how they saw it. That's kind of what the path they were going down. So with them, you can see all the 11 states that decided to follow. You can see Tennessee was the last one. If you know why, please tell me. But yeah, you can see like this. So, yeah, South Carolina is December of 1860. And then as soon as 1861 hits, it's boom, 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 boom. There is a little bit of a gap between Louisiana and Texas, which I think is interesting. I'm not sure what the hesitation there was or why there was such a big gap between January and March. But there's also a little bit more time between the later states that secede rather than Mississippi and Florida and Alabama, who are all days apart from each other. So maybe they were second guessing it, or maybe they're going to see how the states that are already seceded before them, how that worked, and if there was any repercussions of it. I don't know. That's an interesting question, though. So we have 11 states that decided, you know what, we're not going to be part of the union anymore. We don't agree. This is our last slide for this presentation. I told you it's going to be really short. But this just lists the main leaders of both sides. Obviously, there was a ton more generals in the war than I've listed here. But one person I really want to point out, so these 11 states, they formed the Confederate States of America, and they had their own president. Like Abraham Lincoln was our president at the time. So Jefferson Davis happens to be the president of the Confederate States of America. So this really sets the tone that the Confederate States have now created their own nation separate of the North, which is crazy talk. And then you have Robert E. Lee, which is like the main general for the Confederate Army, and Ulysses S. Grant, which is the Union main Army general. And he will actually become president, which we'll talk about that later. So if you want to see more information about all of the generals from both sides, there is a link right here you can go to, and they have so much awesome information. I just didn't want to overwhelm you with lists and lists of generals because it was overwhelming for me to look at. So that is this presentation. I don't think there's anything else. Let me see. Okay, awesome. So that was the first thing I just wanted to go over, just really quick, kind of like the war has officially started. We're going to get into the different battles, like I said, throughout this week. And it is a shorter week because we do not technically have school Thursday or Friday because of Easter or next Monday. So we'll finish the rest of the battles next week. But I wanted to kind of give you an example of what you can expect from our what's the word? Our battle videos. So I've been trying really hard to make these videos and these lessons as engaging as possible, and I've been thinking back to like my favorite teachers and what they would do to kind of keep our class engaged, and I came to the conclusion that the best teachers I had and my favorite teachers were also the weirdest and just out there kind of weird guys. So I'm kind of channeling my inner weirdo, and I'm going to, with the help of probably my dad and Johnny, to kind of give you a simulation of each battle. So the way it'll work. So for example, this is your Monday assignment to watch this video. Tuesday, you are going to be looking at the Battle of Fort Sumter, which is the very first battle of the Civil War. And you're gonna watch like an introduction video that someone else made, and then you're gonna watch a video of me explaining it using like my little Risk people. I don't know if you can see that. They're so cute and tiny. Oh, there we go. We have cannons, and then we have horseback people, and then we have just standing soldiers. Maybe I didn't have one. Here we go. Aren't they cute? They're so small. So I'm going to kind of go through a simulation using those people of and explaining and walking you guys through Fort Sumter. And then I'm also going to be using these bad boys. If anyone knows who these are, I'm so impressed. These were like my childhood. These things are called Lincoln Logs, and they're so fun. And I dug them out of my closet because I will be building different forts with Lincoln Logs and using my little people to do a simulation. But in the video, it's really important that you watch, like, especially the video of me explaining it. One, because I'll break it down a little bit, because the videos, the people talk kind of fast. But I'll help break it down to, like, the main important things you need to know. And then after each battle, after you watch both videos, you'll have a battle card to fill out. And the battle card has the who, what, when, where, why. And you will not have to fill in all the information, but there are some pieces of information on that battle card that are missing that I will talk about in my video. So if you don't watch any of the videos, you're not going to have the information. So that's why it's really important that you kind of watch the first video, get an idea, and then listen to me explain it and walk you through it, and then you'll have the information for your battle card, which is what you need. So hopefully that was clear. I'll put it in writing too. So for my people who aren't auditory learners, it will also be in writing. Don't worry. But that was the main two things I wanted to get out of this video. I will be making a lot of videos, so be prepared to... Yeah, it's going to be weird. It's going to be fun, though. Probably the nerdiest thing I've ever done, but I'm excited about it. So, this is it for this video. I will see you all in the Battle of Fort Sumter video. Bye!